This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody. It's June 18th. We're at our weekly supervisors meeting. It's available by YouTube also and recorded for later date. We have an agenda in front of us. I'd like to approve the agenda. Move to approve. Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
You have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approve the minutes of June 11th meeting.
I will move to approve the June 11th. I actually did abstain from the previous weeks because I was not here. So, and Rachel said she'll make that correction.
Okay, got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Sydney.
So do I abstain since I wasn't here last week?
Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Todd.
Motion passes. County Attorney General discussion.
It's been a long time since I've been here. I think 2 weeks ago, the meeting was on a Monday because of the election. I had something going on. I don't remember what it was now, but it was something going on work-wise. Then last week I was out visiting kids. So anyway, here I am. I guess I don't have anything particular to discuss this morning. Just the criminal and the juvenile docket has been active. Takes a lot of time for both William and I. And I guess, last weeks I've been back, that's probably a lot of what I've been spending time on. A few private things here and there. But so I don't necessarily have anything specific to discuss. If you have questions or anything you want to talk about, let me know.
Guy contacted me about that alley in Mona.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on. Is that?
Is that the lot? Yeah, and it's what you and I have talked about.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Yeah, that, I've looked at that. I'm trying to ascertain. We got another law office that's done some work on that that's gonna have to enlighten me. And I've asked, and I don't have that in front of me right now, but at least the question I have is who actually has the ownership of what's around it?
Like he owns on both sides of it.
Well, he does, but the record, at least my looking at it, was a little unclear because some proceedings, I don't want to get too far in the weeds because I'll say something that's not right, because it's been a week or so since I've even seen that file, but let's just say in a general sense, let's just put this issue aside. Let's just say in a general sense, an example of sometimes what happens with real estate is somebody will pass away and they won't actually do probate proceedings. Sometimes there's a good reason. Sometimes you don't need to, or sometimes they choose not to for, all kinds of reasons. And so the situation is then So when you're doing real estate, like if I'm getting ready to buy real estate, I have the abstract updated, right? And then you have an attorney examine the title opinion, they go through and look at it, and they make sure that you've got title of the real estate and everything else. Sometimes if you don't go through the probate proceedings, you get in there, and then there's like, it's almost like a stop, right? It's almost like a stop. It's like the title becomes muddy. And if certain steps aren't followed, then you're like, well, I don't know if title is here or title is there. So, and I might just be putting more thought into it than I need. I mean, I guess frankly, if everybody says, okay, Murphy, I don't care about all that stuff. If you can vacate this alley and give it to me, and I'll worry about all this other stuff separately. I probably don't have a problem with that as long as somebody later on doesn't come back to me and say, hey, you know what? You did this, but this is a mess, And so, I mean, maybe I don't care about that. Maybe I just say, look, this is all I'm doing. The rest of this is kind of screwy, and you guys are gonna have to fix it sometime, or somebody's gonna.
I mean, we did it at Little Cedar, it's kind of the same situation, only there is a death involved this time.
Yeah, so, but I appreciate you bringing it up, Mike. I haven't forgotten about it. I haven't looked at
He
it.
needs to he needs to put his drain field in, and he needs to go
But
across.
I do,
That's
I
the
understand.
issue.
So, all right,
That's why.
maybe I'm just being a little too, which I do have a tendency sometimes to do, to be a little too analytical and maybe a little too demanding on what I want done.
Yeah. And he's willing to pay all the legal fees, whatever.
Shouldn't be much. Shouldn't be much.
He's- But he needs it for his,
Okay.
needs to go across a line.
Well, that's a good reason. So,
Yeah,
okay.
needs to get it done, I guess, so.
Anybody else? All right, I appreciate you bringing that up, Mike. I'm gonna send myself an email now, just so I have that note to.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Sheriff update.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I have May fees for you this morning of $1,970.10.
A motion approves the sheriff's report.
Motion.
A motion is there a second.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Sydney.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Jim.
Couple other items for you. The 2017 model pickup that we currently have that the reserves are driving will go out of sheriff's service probably in August. And so whatever the board wants to do with that, it'll be available, whether you choose to sell it or it goes to another department within the county that we've been doing in the last several years. So be thinking about that, probably sometime early August, that'll be ready to roll.
You were gonna incorporate one into your.
Yes.
So that's a different thing than when this.
Yeah, so the Tahoe that is being replaced will now come into service for a reserve vehicle, and the truck will be available.
Okay.
Yep, so we got that covered. We talked a few weeks ago, that I wasn't gonna spend money to buy another vehicle for the jail staff. They can share that vehicle, and it'll be just fine. It'll work out just fine, so we'll do that. Found out last week I may have to send a deputy to Washington DC to testify in a January 6th incident. Hopefully the bill is all on the feds. I don't know if they pay wages. I don't know what they pay. But if he gets subpoenaed, he'll have to go. And so try to do it by Zoom, and defense attorneys are having an issue with that. Sometimes the tactic defense attorneys will use is they'll schedule a hearing hoping that law enforcement or the witnesses don't show up, in which case typically falls in favor of the defendant, but we're gonna show up. So I'll just keep you posted as I learn more on that. I'll share that with you guys. In terms of our new HVAC system, not sure if it needs to be tweaked or what's going on, but we don't feel it's working properly. You maybe haven't seen the text yet.
I didn't read it much, but I see something was sent in.
Yeah, so I don't know, David sent a text out this morning if the units are undersized or just not working. Dispatch jail area was 79 degrees this morning. My office seems to be fine at 70, but something's not, it just needs to be maybe tweaked. I'm not saying it's not right, it just needs to be tweaked. So I don't know where we're at in terms of paying for all that, but let's get it running
Yeah.
correctly.
So is the whole facility warm, or is it just those two areas?
Jail's warm and dispatch and jail office are warm. The other ones seem to be fine. So
Okay.
down the hallway towards my office and the deputies area, no complaints there.
Are the units running? The ceiling cassettes, are they?
Yeah, I think that they are. I know that mine is.
Yeah.
But Dave would be the point of contact on that. He's more up on some of that stuff. But he just included me in a text message. I said I would mention it to the board this morning to take a closer look at that. June 25th, that's the date on Russ Kephart property, correct?
Yeah.
Are we doing something on the 25th? Is there been any decisions made? Do I need to plan for anything on that Tuesday?
There's an agenda item today in regards to a quote form, and I didn't put that on the agenda for today, but we're gonna discuss that, I think. So,
Okay.
is that correct? Who
Yeah,
put that on the
I
agenda?
suppose,
I asked you to put it on because the 24th is coming up, so I figured we better get,
Is it the 24th? Is that the day?
that's when we would take
25th at noon.
25th at noon.
25th.
Okay. Just curious if I need to plan for anything.
So when you say plan for anything, are you, I mean.
Do you want a deputy present, will you remove stuff? Call us if you need us.
I haven't seen it.
Just kind of curious on what your thoughts were. We're flexible. I mean,
Mhm.
if you call us within an hour, we'd probably be there, but I kind of like to know too.
maybe we'll do it stuff. And I don't know, because I don't know. Is he living there?
No, he's not.
On the pickup? He's not.
I guess I don't know if he's going to show up and have a problem with things that day.
You know, I don't
really
anticipate
don't
that.
know.
I don't anticipate it, but if you clean it up, you're gonna have heavy equipment on the roadway and we can kind of help get traffic around some of that stuff.
That will be, I don't foresee that happening that day because we've sat on this for 30 days and nothing has happened. And so I think that's, today we need to make a decision what we're gonna do.
Sure.
That will be part of that discussion.
Okay. And then the last item I have is jail inspection, state jail inspection is tomorrow, 10 a.m. They go smooth. Mark, you'll receive a report from state jail inspector as the chairman of the board, so watch for that in your email.
What happens if the temperature's warm?
I don't know that he may comment about that.
Should have a result by then, I would think.
By tomorrow, I hope so. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know that he will gig us on that.
Yeah.
He might, I don't know. We'll tell him we're putting a new system in and there's a learning curve to it. So Delbert's pretty good that way. I don't anticipate any issues. Just heads up that it's tomorrow.
At 10, you said?
I think it's 10 a.m. That's all I have unless you guys have things for me.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Department head discussion.
Yeah, Conservation Board had our monthly meeting last week on Tuesday. Board agreed to do a trail easement on the Greenbelt Trail for another 10 years, so we'll have an easement on that. They agreed to a policy on the wetland fill dirt, not the good black dirt, but the fill dirt. Basically for the rest of this calendar year, if people want to give donations, they got to come fill it themselves, load themselves, haul it themselves, that sort of stuff, but they can get dirt out at the wetland. They just got to coordinate with myself. And then we had the Osage School. There's a youth group that's looking together, put together a fishing club through the school. And they're looking to partner with the Conservation Board on being able to get kayaks, fishing supplies, that sort of stuff as they're trying to organize their club. The school hasn't officially, from what I understand, hasn't recognized them as a club through the school yet. They're just kind of doing their due diligence on the outside, trying to see what they get. So a group of kids came and presented what they're doing. The board said that they would partner with them if they were to become an organized club through the school type thing. So more kids we can get outdoors doing more outdoor activities is a good thing. So versus being on screen. So that was the three big things we had on the agenda. We did have a truck order on there, but we waited on the truck order as we can't get the orders in at this point. We gotta wait till, I think it's sometime in July before we get to order our truck, so we postponed that. Any questions?
With those school kids, did they, a few years ago, did they put a map together for fishing spots and stuff?
That, I don't know, they may have, I'm not aware that they.
Before you, and before you came here, and it seems like that was a project they were doing. And just wondering if that was tying in with this, but
No, so what this is they would, it'd be like a sport event, like a sporting event type thing. So they would be like a club, but they could go and participate. There is a state fishing tournament. They could participate in tournaments and stuff of that nature. They're kind of trying to figure out their time frame. I think they're running from April to November is kind of the ballpark they're looking at trying to get organized in. It'd be 2 days a week that they would meet. There would be a coach. What the school would have to line up if they were to become a club, so there'd be a coach on it. Then they would go fishing, and then some kids, of course, have their fishing supplies, but if a kid was to sign up and be a part of the club that didn't have sufficient supplies, that would be our partnership with them of helping them find equipment so that they could go ahead and participate. And then we, on our end, what we're doing is, we'll help them acquire the stuff, whether we can apply for grants and things of that nature. But mainly we would store the equipment for them, and then when they needed it, we'd be able to provide it for them. But again, it comes down to the school board if they want to go ahead and recognize the club, if this is going to become an organized activity. But we'd love to partner with schools and getting kids outdoors. It's always a good thing. That's where we're at. Any other questions? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any other department head discussion?
Same.
County engineer update.
Morning.
Couple of things. We got those amendments to the contracts from WHKS for bridges. Kind of summarized them last week for you on what they were about. The H-142 bridges, that bridge south of McIntyre, that's the Grant Bridge. They're in final design phase, so it's just an amendment to that contract for a lump sum fee of $38,600. That gets us final design through letting on that. And then the other one is the design change, a lump sum fee of $14,000 for the I-232 bridge, where we had anticipated a standard abutment wall, but because of shallow rock, they've got to change the design of the abutment to a different, whether it's a spread footing or a taller abutment that can't be a standard based on what's there. So I'm going to recommend we keep our projects moving and approve these amendments for these two projects.
Motion to approve amendment, professional service agreement for Rock 1-232 and H-142.
so moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Cindy.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye. Rich, you had mentioned when we, okay, all right. Sorry. You had mentioned when we were doing the Grant Bridge a number of months ago that you're gonna need more assistance with it because of probably that 20%.
Correct, yep.
If,
There'll be another phase to the contract when we get to that.
okay, I guess the only thing I'm saying is if, don't surprise us with that you need it all of a sudden, because
Oh.
it's gonna be turbine money that we're gonna be using to supplement it with. It's
Oh,
gonna need to go through a process in order to make that happen.
for the inspections and stuff.
Well, and you just said you're gonna need probably some more money that
Well-
your budget's gonna be able to take care of.
I think so. I don't think I'll have an issue with covering the engineering services for this when we get to the final design. I know that we have this aside, I know we have additional fees from the bridge over by Carpenter because that got to be a real mess of a bridge. So we do have higher fees there that we're gonna have to, I haven't gotten that back yet, but I know we've got an increase in cost there based on what happened with the contractor and other stuff that went on there that we'll have. But all that'll come out of the engineering budget that we've got. I always kind of put more in there because we never know from year to year what's gonna pop up with bridges. So I think we'll be able to budget for that stuff, even, we're this far out yet and we aren't looking for construction. I think this is a late season, this will get let in 25, so we still got time to look at that if we need
In
to.
regards to the 20% of our side of it, at the construction phase of it, if it goes over the 20%, is that when you're gonna start needing some?
We'll use, so the federal money it's federal money on the grant, and then it'll be our HVP swap or HVP bridge funds to cover the 20%. So we'll keep an eye on that. It probably won't be local money that we're gonna use for that. So we'll see how that all irons out, but we shouldn't for the construction anyway. And then, of course, engineering isn't part of the grant, so yeah, it'll be.
I just don't want to surprise you, just want to sit down someday, well, here's, I need some money.
No, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll make sure I let you guys know what's coming up, but I think we'll be able to manage that.
Okay.
So a while back, the city of St. Ansgar did a crossing, sewer crossing there by St. Ansgar. They put a patch in it. The patch isn't necessarily as smooth as we would like it to be. I met with the engineer last week and with the city. I asked them to get a quote for what it would cost to either diamond grind it to make it ride better, or the other option is to completely replace it and put it back in. I made the suggestion, I think they came back with a quote, and to replace the patch was gonna be like, for them to take only, the westbound lane isn't near as rough as the eastbound lane going to the stop sign. And so we were gonna kind of just say, okay, well, this one's not so bad, but let's look at this eastbound lane, because it's a lot rougher than the other one. To using bid prices to remove and replace was gonna be like $6,500 to take that one lane out and repatch it. And you're not guaranteed probably gonna be smooth. I mean, it could be not as rough, but it could be still rough. The estimate for coming into diamond grind is $7,000. I'm thinking, you know what, for the cost, they said that if the county would choose to want to have a diamond ground for $700, they'd want me to pay the $500 difference or whatever the difference is in the grinding. But then also the grinding would take care of both lanes and not just one. So I think I'm gonna contact the city and say, look, it's less disruption for the public to go back through and have to do a lane closure, everything else. I'm willing to pay the difference, or the county is willing to pay the difference for the diamond grinding, because they come in, they got a temporary closure for when they come grind it, it's done, and it's more guaranteed to be smooth than it is now, so.
Then you're not wasting all that material too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the construction, other than it's rough, there's no sense of taking good concrete out, so. I'm gonna contact, if you guys are okay with it, I'm just gonna say, whether it's $500 or $1,000, we're requesting that, it's the more expensive option, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's less hassle for the traveling public to have to detour around it for a couple days again while they remove, wait for cure time and everything else. So just a heads up on that, we're gonna get that smoothed out a little bit, so.
That's probably a good decision, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably money well spent for that. Later on, I'm gonna be going through the quotes for the particulars for quoting for dump trucks for whenever we can get them, probably 18 months from now. But we're gonna go through and kind of finalize what we're looking for the specs on that. One other thing, and this is getting to be, I don't know if it's really getting to be habitual, but I've had a couple requests on some certain things, but the latest thing, and just for you guys' information, I don't know if anybody's contacted you or not, but we've had an individual request for children at play signs to be put on the highway, and it's because they're doing an in-home daycare. I don't recommend we put those type signs up, because that means sometimes it technically could mean we know that there's a potential problem, we could make ourselves liable. So right now I'm gonna suggest that the individual buys the little neon green child with the flag and put it at their driveway, because two things, two things is, well, we can put them up, we can make them pay for the signs and also maintenance for those signs, which I don't think they're gonna wanna do. But again, we start planting signs in the right of way all the time. People aren't gonna pay attention to them anyway. They might for the few weeks that they're up, and then it's just gonna be whatever, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not all about safety, but we start putting signs out that I could see if we were in town, where there's a lot of traffic, slow moving traffic and things like that, but I'm probably gonna let the individual know. I don't think that it's a great idea to put them out, just based on the fact that there could be liability issues on the county's end to say, okay, well, these signs are up now, we know there's probably a potential problem, and does that make us, I don't know if that does that or not, but I've heard that story by several people and attorneys in the past, that you put a sign up saying, hey, look, somebody could be in the street, you know there's a problem, and you.
I hear those things, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
But just for an FYI, I don't think I'm gonna recommend we put any other signs out just for that situation. A school bus stop is different. A school bus stop has a stopped vehicle on the highway, and it's usually in a blind location, a blind spot where people can't see. And it's usually recommended by the school board when they do that, but these are a little different. So I don't know if anybody's got an opinion on that or not, but I think that's kind of how we've handled a lot of these in the past.
I'll go with what you recommend.
Yeah, I'm about safety too, but if you put a sign up, does that start giving our sheriff's department somebody a reason to call the sheriff because there's people coming through and aren't paying attention?
Well, and it's on a highway where the speed limit's 55, so I mean, I know that there's, advance notice or whatever, but I don't know if there's another option for them. So, but just in case anybody's contacted, that's the direction we're looking at going, so. I think that's all I have this morning. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Approve resolution to properly dispose of obsolete election documents.
I can talk kind of quick. So we are required to keep certain documents for 6 months. So it's city school elections and special elections. And then primary and general we keep for 22 months. And then you are able to shred those documents. There are certain ones that we do keep. But as far as like the ballots, the absentee request forms, that's the stuff that gets shredded. So these are just the items that we have that are able to be shredded this time.
Okay, you have a motion to destroy the ballots, resolution number 1221-24.
I'll move to make that motion.
Motion's our second.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Mark,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approve liquor license for Acorn Park Golf and Recreation Area. Liquor license, got insurance policy. Got a motion to approve the liquor license for Acorn Park.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license for Acorn Park.
The motion is our second.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Tom.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye. Motion passes. Approved tobacco permit application for Move 2 Incorporated Mona Tobacco. It's for their tobacco license up in Mona. Place is out of elderly owner. There a motion to approve the tobacco license?
Move to approve.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Sydney.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Pass.
Aye.
Passes. Discussion, possible action on property code form. For the Pepper project, is there?
Yeah.
I don't see no difference in the two forms.
So, Todd, you put this on, so I don't know if you want to speak to it. The code forms, I just Go ahead.
Well, I'll answer Mark's question that, the date is, first one was July 1, 2024, and, the other one has been changed to July 15th, 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, so I just, you wanted this on the agenda, so I updated the quote form. The first one was one we looked at about a month ago, and there were some issues with it. Some board members didn't like certain aspects of it. I believe it was, I don't know if it was formally tabled or nothing was done with it. So we've sat on it for 30 days, and what I did with the new quote form is, like Todd said, I updated quotes to be due by July 15th, 12 noon. That can be changed again also. I did also add in the general notes, no partial payments will be allowed, meaning, and that's if a person decides to accept this form as it is. Somebody is not going to be able to come in and just do the demolition and removal and then just say, well, give me the amount for that because I'm not doing the rest of it. So no partial payments are allowed, and I did put a completion date on it that needs to be completed prior to October 1st. So those are the changes to the form.
So I have a question before going into this. Are we allowed to sell the stuff on the property instead of just removing it and taking it to the dump, or?
Well, no, we don't sell, we can sell. I mean,
But
I think it's
Or
great.
do you
It's
wanna-
ours. It is ours.
Yeah, so like, what's left on there instead of, have it sale day and sell it all, or just do it this way? Is this a way easier?
I'll say what concerns me about this whole thing. It's a mess and there's junk all over. And there's a building to me that looks like that could fall down. This form says contractor shall maintain a minimum of $1 million liability insurance. I'm nervous about anybody going in there and piecemealing this out and having a building fall on them, and then we've got a problem with that. That's my concern. I just want to have a contractor come in and do the whole thing and be done with it, and I'm sure it's gonna be sticker shock, no doubt about it. If individuals can figure out a way to make this work and doing it bit by bit by bit, and it's safe and everything, I'm open to listening to that, but nothing has happened in 30 days, and we're kicking the can down the road. So this is what I want to do. Whatever you guys want to do too is,
I'm sure the contractor that would, if they're salvageable metal or whatever, they're gonna recycle it.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean,
I just had someone ask if we were gonna have a sale, or if we're just gonna come and clean it up and take it off, that's all.
Yeah,
That's why I was curious, so.
I know there's piles of cement block and things of that nature too, and I don't know, is there a reason why the contractor couldn't bury cement on site instead of hauling it to the landfill? I mean, that would be expensive. You know, like we did with the county home, you know, it's gonna be $120,000 all the way, or a lot cheaper just to bury it there, so I don't know if that's something. Could be, you know, I mean, otherwise it's gonna cost a lot, you know?
yeah,
But if
contractor could discuss that with us, yeah.
you know, but it have to be done before the bid too, you know, because you ain't gonna bid and then I'm hauling it all the way when, if you don't have to, you know. Because what do you think's gonna happen there? You think somebody's gonna build, or do you think it's
I have no idea.
No idea.
gonna sit? Yeah, that's just it, you don't know, so.
No idea.
Because I know there's a cement foundation from the house too, well, yeah, get rid of the house and just knock it in and cover it up, you know, I mean, that would cheapen it up versus hauling it all the way, so now I'm thinking if it's just gonna be an empty lot, who cares if there's cement buried, you know? I mean,
I don't know the future of it.
I know, that's what I'm just thinking, that kind of like the county home, you know, we saved a lot by just burying it on site versus hauling it, so. That's my
Well, but yeah, but the only difference and I'm not disputing what you're saying, but the only difference with the county home is it's remained county property.
Yeah.
That's with that word. This is, I don't expect the county to retain this forever. I'm sure we're gonna give it away or sell it or do something with it, so.
Right. I don't think you're gonna get that much money for it either, even selling it either, so if there's cement buried there, you know, I mean, it's like, big deal, you know, I mean, that's just my thinking, just to bring the price tag down, you know.
How would we quote that in regards to specifying what gets buried and what does not?
I would say cement or stone could be buried and that's it, you know, right? Or, I don't know, that's my thoughts, I don't know, anybody else have any thoughts?
Cement blocks are there. It won't be that much to take to landfill. They're taking,
Well, they sell by you gotta pay by the pound with the landfills, and I'm thinking cement's good.
I think that's the minor compared to everything that's there.
Well, yeah, maybe, you know, I mean, there's.
But I see what you're saying. I suppose the next thing to do is wait till July 15th, see if anybody bids.
Yeah.
Be our next step.
Well,
I know somebody that's interested in it, and they plan on recycling what they can, and they have the equipment to do it, and the insurance, and everything, so.
I guess the process is that the board has to make a decision how they want to proceed. If it's through a quote form, then we have to put something in the paper so that contractors in the area know about it, so that they can quote the price. And if any of us know people, we can by all means contact them verbally also. But you have to get this out so that everybody knows that it's there.
Right.
And we can't just say, here, you two people, give us a price.
Right, oh, correct, yeah.
So it has to go to the paper, and I mean, so it's gonna take a little bit. That's where that July 15th, that might be a
Better
different date too, I don't know.
Be a start, I guess.
Yeah,
So that updated one looks just fine to me.
Any questions about specifics to the thing? We have the final decision. We can reject all quotes. We don't have to accept any of them.
where do you get Osage mix, proceed?
The elevator has that. Or they can use a seed mixture approved by us. I mean, if they have something different, they can just say, yeah, I have this, would you accept that?
Just trying to stay in the account.
They have to reshape the ground after they go in there and take everything out. They have to reshape the grounds, make it look decent.
Yeah. It's all reasonable, yeah.
See if we get any interest, I guess.
So you want
Yep, you have a motion to accept the quote form?
motion for the updated quote form of July 15th.
You have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Sydney.
Motion passes.
So is the board okay if, or does somebody want to put something together that's gonna go in the paper? Some verbiage that explains what we're doing, and then, then contractors could this form can be available from the auditor's office. And if they so request the form, then Rachel can send it to them, and
Put something in both papers?
Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
you wanna do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Should we wait till the 25th though?
No,
No, I think we can get this going.
Because I think he's got ownership in Talent.
he does, but we're not gonna have anybody.
Do you think anybody will go out there and look though, before the 25th? Of course, it's gonna take a week to get in the paper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we own the property now, it's just his
It's just this
stuff
stuff.
to
Yeah.
Yeah,
the stuff on top.
So we get in the paper tomorrow, and then it's in next week's paper, but it's only 4 more days.
And in the paper, it can specify that any removals cannot be happen until June 26th or pick a date.
Or you can put maybe the inspection date, June
They
26th.
can't remove anything anyway till they get the quote, if they're the winners.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So we won't hit the paper till the 25th, so that's the day of anyways.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Rachel, if you receive these, so they can email these and then email us to the board and they can mail them to you or they can deliver them to your counter. So if you get any of these, whether it's on an envelope or just a form by itself, write on the envelope the date that you received it and the time that you received it. So we have a record of stuff that's coming in. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion, possible action on IT project?
I put this on the agenda, so I'm gonna try to navigate this. This has to do with security for Mitchell County. And if there are specific questions, we probably go into closed session to discuss it further, but I'll remind you that maybe that's all needs to happen in regards to refreshing everybody's memory. So about a year ago, we were between IT directors. There was a project that got put on hold, and then after we got an IT director, things started going again, and the project got implemented. And with that project, there's a 5-year agreement, which we agreed to do. And again, I'll just say it has to do with security. With that 5-year agreement, there are 500 licenses that we agreed to purchase at a sum of, I think it was 5, did I write it down? Yeah, at a sum of $5,486.25 for 500 licenses. 500 is the minimum that we could do. We're not gonna use 250 licenses, even half of it. There's a neighboring county that wants to share in that license procedure, which would save us money. And I guess I'm just wondering if the board is open to having the neighboring county use half of those licenses for their county. Something that we can do also, let's just say we use 150 licenses. I don't even know if it's gonna be that many. If we had half of them, we'd have 100 licenses available that in Mitchell County, we could actually provide this service to other entities within our county that would be interested in purchasing a license from us. The cost per license comes to $10.97 per license. So is the board open to a neighboring county utilizing half of these licenses? They would have to pay that $10.97, or we could round it up to $11, whatever. Is the board open to doing that? Or is there further questions that we need to discuss this more in detail?
It's not a security risk or anything, it's just a licensing.
They would just be using the same service that we are, but you need to have a license in order to use it.
That being, like, do you charge them monthly or yearly or biannually or?
We are under a 5-year contract and we get billed annually for it. So I guess it's up to us, but to me, it'd be the same thing for them. They probably have to do an annual fee. I did send, Aaron, did you get that email in regards to 2080 agreement that I sent you? Aaron? Did you get that email in regards to the 2080 agreement? Okay. And I don't know if we need to do that or not, or.
Yeah, I mean, 2080 agreement would be fine. You'd be a little bit, you wouldn't get particularly specific about what all the details are and when you're dealing with an IT or security system, but, yeah.
Would you draw that up then, or how you would do that?
You You see a problem with it or no?
No,
You run it past Ryan?
Pardon me.
You run it past Ryan or?
He's implemented the system within the county and has done training to some individuals in the county. I don't know what departments have got it implemented and which departments have not. I don't think we have yet. I haven't, but, yeah, I've talked with him about different things, yeah.
He's okay with it or? He's?
Oh, yeah. And the neighboring county actually the neighboring county's been pestering me to,
Get that.
yeah, like, where are we at with this? You know, because they wanna,
so what I would do is, I'm not an IT technology security person at all. So I would want direction from somebody like Ryan or somebody, exactly what we're doing. You know what I mean? I mean, trust me, you don't want me putting together a particularly detailed, here's what's, you know. And I think you probably want it to be as general as possible. I mean, the public, you know, has a right to know how you got, you know, deal with security. So, if somebody needs, if it gets to that point, somebody let me know, you know, what's going on. So I know who I need to talk to. You know, so I say, okay, what are we doing here? And, okay, does that make sense?
see that?
I mean, we share other things with other counties, I don't see a problem. We share Rich.
But it just was appropriate for me to ask the question.
No,
you know,
yeah.
So,
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
so it's okay for,
Do we have a motion to accept the possible action on IT project?
I'll make a motion to.
Motion is there a second? Second, any other discussion?
Roll call, Mike.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Tad. Mark.
I,
Okay. Mitchell County Home Health, Public Health Update.
Hello,
morning.
just got one handout here. Here's just a financial snapshot like I like to share with you guys every time I come. Thank you. You want another one?
Yeah, I got one, but I'd have to dig it out.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot today. We're with a lot of the business stuff we went over on Friday. We had a meeting last Friday with the Board of Health. Just to start by going off on the finances, we're sitting really good on both expenses and revenues. We did that amendment back in May that we discussed last time. And we're quite a bit under on our expenses, about 81%. And we're at 92% of the year. Revenue is at 109 at the end of May. So we've actually met our revenue expectations and above and beyond already. We still had about 2 months left. So sitting really good. We are short staff on our nurses, so that might make a little difference on the expenses. Not as much. Granted, the nurses are having some overtime due to the short staff needing to take care of those extra patients and more weekends that they're having to do due to one nurse short. So looking at this snapshot here, if you look at May, we were under about $20,000 on expenses. So that's good. And then we were over on our revenues, about $12,000. So we're bringing in that revenue and then keeping our expenses down. So any questions on that? Okay. Just some other things that we talked about. We did talk about, as I'm still hiring for a full-time or part-time nurse, I'm struggling to find someone to fill the position. We did adjust the starting wage for the nurses. We raised it from $27 to $30 an hour. Hoping to, we have a lot of high competition, being so close to the Minnesota border up at Mayo and a lot of high paying nursing homes. So just trying to get some nurses and good qualified nurses in. So hopefully we get some applications in soon. I did hire a PRN nurse starting next Monday. It's actually one of our retired nurses that retired a year ago. So they're gonna start Monday and just help out a couple days a week until we can get full staff again. So that will help tremendously, hopefully decrease some overtime from some of the other nurses. So just a grant financial overview on how we're sitting. We did get approved for next year's Elder Bridge grant. That grant helps offset our low-income patients that have to pay for personal care aid and homemaker services out of their pocket. So that kind of helps offset some of their expenses. So this year for that grant, we have about $4,000 left to help patients for these last couple months. And then our emergency preparedness grant, that started at about $20,000. We have about just under $5,000 left on that to spend. And then we spent down all the rest of our grants. I did submit, you guys may have seen on the expenses, I submitted some opioid expenses that our agency has accrued. We did put an ad, I believe Jessa may have talked about this in the past, but we put an ad about the unused drugs where they can take it, sheriff's office and other locations. So we put that ad in there to let people know what to do with those, and just some other time that Jessa's put in towards the opioid. Some other things. There is going to be, just because we're hiring, I did push out, the Iowa Works is doing a grab a job at the Osage Library that we submitted our hiring flyers in. They're doing that this Friday. They're to go talk to the Iowa Works people, and if you're looking for a job, we put our flyers in those folders. So anybody looking for a job. It's CNA week right now. I don't know if you've seen that all over some CNAs. National CNA week was starting last Friday until tomorrow. So make sure you thank a CNA this week. They work hard. I think that actually might be it that I have. Any questions on any of that?
I'm doing okay with it, what was transferred into it for the amount that you can.
The funds, yep, Rachel already submitted a check over to us, and so.
I just don't know if we need to transfer, if we did it, more transfers, or if we're good, or, okay.
I'll probably still have some to submit over just for I submitted that till the end of May, so we're just anything from June I'll submit over the end of June, so. Yep. I'll let Jess take over.
All right, so here's public health, what we've been doing out in the community since we've last met with you guys. Blood pressures, done 70 blood pressures, assessed with 1 clinical referral. I did start up this summer at South Square. I will be starting up actually this week with the church there's no more breakfast at the church here in St. Ansgar. So South Square actually contacted me and said that the coffee ladies wanted me to come in there. So I'll be starting that early mornings the third week of the month, the third Thursday of the month, excuse me. So I'll start that this week. Immunizations, we had 127 patients come in for immunizations with 188 vaccines given. I did meet with our VaxCare team to talk about compensation on those vaccines. We've given a lot of them, trying to increase that compensation. So we did sign agreements that they will increase for commercial flu, Medicare and Medicaid flu. So we'll get a little bit more back in reimbursement for those. So that's a positive. We will be starting a new Iowa VFA program. So right now we have a vaccine for children program. So basically anyone that's uninsured, no insurance, Medicaid, they're eligible for vaccines, for free vaccines. And so they are just launching in August a vaccine for adult program. So anyone that's uninsured or has no insurance, they can come and get vaccines. It's only going to be held through public health. So the hospitals can't join it or anything like that. So that'll be starting come August. I don't have any more details than that, but we can give all vaccines through that program. We were just recently on a bridge access program that only allowed COVID and flu vaccines, but this program will open up for any and all vaccines, which is huge too. So we will communicate that with the hospital and once we get further in that process. And, hopefully they can refer individuals that are uninsured or underinsured our way, so we can make sure they're taken care of. There was a new executive order to change code 641, chapter 7, which is for the immunization and immunization education for individuals in childcare and elementary schools. So I updated the board on that. I've updated the schools and childcare centers as well on that order that's been changed.
Was it a good change or a bad change? What was it?
It's not actually, so the 3 topics that they basically talked about is religious exemptions. They don't need to be notarized anymore. Sometimes it's hard to find a notary. Sometimes you have to pay to get things notarized. So they eliminated that. Religious exemptions are pretty easy to get for vaccines anyway, so not really a benefit or decline. The second is basically updating information, so HIPAA, so sending those immunization records that just have what is needed for school or what is needed for childcare instead of a list of all their immunizations on one sheet, just to help with the HIPAA guidance on that as well too. So that will be starting July 1. And then provisional certificates and medical exemptions will also be getting updated, the verbiage on those. So nothing that affects us, or it's just minor changes, yeah. Foot clinics, there was 4 foot clinics done. We are gonna be, hopefully with Dr. Gertz, or have discussions in our hospital meeting with Dr. Gertz just for that referral process too. CPR, 15 classes for CPR were given last couple of months. Reportable cases, there were 4 here in Mitchell County, 1 Campy, 1 hepatitis B, and 2 salmonella. We are seeing an increase in avian influenza across the United States in bird flocks, and now we're seeing it in dairy herds. We just got our first case, not in Mitchell County, in Iowa, in O'Brien County, in a dairy herd recently. So getting lots of information on that. I do have avian influenza kits on hand. So if someone's dairy herd got it, we would be able to go in and test those individuals, go through the quarantine process. It is a long process of following up with them for 21 days, going over symptoms and getting them tested and going through all that. So hopefully we do not see any in Mitchell County. We do have dairy herds here, so I wouldn't be unlikely if we did, but we do have the means to take care of that if it were to happen here in Mitchell County. So we're prepared for that. Mental health prescriber, you guys, Jim gave an update on that last week. So if you guys have any further questions, I updated my board on that. You guys can ask me about that.
Just that I would like, last week's recording did not get out to the people.
Okay.
So either when you're done or now, I guess I would like you to speak to that a little bit so that maybe this one will get recorded out to the people and people are aware of that program.
Yep.
If you could.
Yep. So I partnered with Prairie Ridge to bring in a mental health prescriber here to Mitchell County. So with your guys' approval, we're able to use a room out of the county social services building, which we appreciate. So I brought different personnel to this meeting: schools, hospital, county social services, Angela Nasham, who's a mental health advocate, and then the hospital, and then Prairie Ridge partners, who we will be working with. So Kristen is the one who's coming on board, Kristen Anderson. She just graduated and passed her NP boards, and she will be coming in. Right now we have a start date of August 29th. She passed her boards, but why it may take a while is it just takes a process to get your Medicaid license or your licensing to serve Medicaid and other individuals. She will be here every Thursday afternoon from 12:30 to 4, being able to see patients 6 years of age and older. We can hopefully expand on that time frame that she's here. It's just a start, just to see what she has. Just so if we're seeing more individuals, she'll be able to come in and do that. She doesn't treat any regular diagnosis. It's basically mental health. So she'll be able to treat or give vaccines, take urine samples, do all that stuff right here in her office too, which is huge. Adjust meds, everything like that. So like I said, her focus is psychiatric mental health. She'll be able to diagnose and treat.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Yes, and referral, they actually are going through some stuff over at Prairie Ridge, so they're changing some paperwork there. So I'm waiting to get paperwork from Shay of the referral process, so we'll have stuff here. But the main referral will want them to call there, but if people come in, we can have them fill out the paperwork and fax it right on over to them, just so the process is pretty smooth too. So we may see people on our side, they may use our clinic room here once in a while if other rooms are taken. So I think it'll be a great partnership, and hopefully with this partnership, we'll be able to get a mental health provider on hand too, a therapist on hand to go right along, coincide with this too, which would be huge. So Stop the Bleed kits, we gave out 136 or donated 136 Stop the Bleed kits to Osage and St. Ansgar schools, 14 Stop the Bleed kits to the government agencies in our county. First aid kits, able to donate 4 first aid kits to both Osage and St. Ansgar Park and Rec clubs to have during their ball games. They have nothing as far as first aid stuff, so able to provide that. So families that have to bring their own or run to their car or take their child home, able to treat it right there at the Diamonds. Public health wins, you'll probably hear a little bit more about that. It's a survey that we're going to participate in. It's open now to every local public health. And then what it does, it collects data from our staff, and so it helps us identify training needs, how we can retain staff, all that, everything in it. So we'll be able to do different strategic planning, to offer different training needs from what our staff need is beneficial. We can also see from this survey that we're going to conduct what other counties are going through, what other issues they're having too. So maybe we can approach that before it becomes an issue for us as well too. The survey starts in September, goes through December, and we get our results back from the whole United States summer of 2025. So that'll be nice to see those survey updates and changes. Behavioral health, I'm just going to add on this. I know Megan talked about this. It doesn't really affect us, but in a way it does. I've been in communications with Megan for a while now, when we see the maps of what it may look like, just in conversations about filling that gap. Because if there is no services that are provided, how can we help? And we'll continue to have these conversations because we don't want to have a gap of care or services not provided for anyone here in Mitchell County. So we'll continue to have those conversations. They're not going to know anything, or we're not sure what those maps are going to look like for a while yet. But we want to make sure we have someone available for people here too. So not having to travel. So what can we do? How can we help as well too? So we're just trying to be proactive, or I'm just trying to be proactive before it hits and we have nowhere, or we're not sure what we're going to do. So it may take some involvement more with you guys down the road. When we get to that point, we can see that behavioral health map, and depending on who's covering our area and what that looks like too. So there'll be a lot more discussion on that, but we'll keep you guys in the loop as much as we can too. MCSAC meeting, we are doing the TIPS training. That will be here in late July. We're having it at South Square and the Osage Library. It's at the end. We are communicating with off-premises and on-premises individuals that sell alcohol and inviting them to this free training that will be given by Prairie Ridge. Otherwise, I think that's all that I had. I guess some immunization stuff too. We're starting to obviously get ready to gear up for respiratory season, flu, COVID, and RSV. They are going out. If you're used to hearing a quadrivalent flu vaccine, this year they are only having a trivalent. And why they changed it is there are 2 A's and 1 B. 1 B that was on there's been a global disappearance. So there hasn't been a case of this flu since March of 2020. So they've taken that out of the flu vaccine, and they're just doing a trivalent vaccine. So that's what every place will be offering this year is the trivalent vaccine. So just a little update on that. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I do have a few home health stats I wanted to share with you guys. So on the home health side, we are, after today, we'll be at about 79 for a home health admission or home health census. Since we came last, we've done, including today, 37 admissions since we've been here. Majority of those referrals are self-referrals. And then the Osage, St. Ansgar, and Osage Hospital. That's where majority of our referrals come from. So we do see a lot of people just calling in themselves saying, I need services, or a family member calling in as well. So majority are coming from there, and then, you know, they can just call us and we can do the rest of the work by getting a doctor or getting an order from the doctor, and then going from there. So out of 37, 16 of those admissions were brand new admissions. They weren't on before. And then the rest were like readmissions they had been on before, or their Medicare services were done because they no longer qualified for Medicare to pay, and then we switched them over to private pay and they started doing self-pay or Medicaid, or maybe a private insurance. So that's on that. We've been doing a lot of education to our patients and staff on trying to prevent ER and rehospitalizations. So we've been really pushing that, trying to avoid that. Call us, you know, not to go to the ER, or if it's something that they can just call us and we come see them. You know, not only do we not want to see ER visits and rehospitalizations when it's not needed, the hospital doesn't want to see that either. So if there's something that we can go and help them with, you know, kind of call us first unless it's an emergency. So just been doing a lot of teachings on that, and including it into our admission packets when we go into the homes. So just want to share that. Any questions for either one of us? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
So the last week's meeting didn't get recorded or lost?
It's not.
Yeah,
I know people ask me what's that.
I don't, it's not out there today. Did you
The
know?
meeting was recorded, but IT doesn't have access to the YouTube account to post it, which is where it gets stored. But the video should be saved for so many days. So once he has access, he should be able to post it on.
So it's a Ryan thing?
What changed?
We gave him the code, Rachel and I gave him the code and the information to the YouTube, but I told him to contact Solutions because they were the one that took over the YouTube account. So I asked him to contact them and to go from there. So I don't know what happened. But we dropped it from Rachel, dropped it from me, gave it to Rachel, dropped it from her, gave him access to it, and told him to contact Solutions. So I don't know. We gave him all the information that he needed.
Think it'll be too late by the time he gets back, or
No, I think
like
it's 20 days
yeah.
or something like that, so.
so we can wait till.
Will this one go on then, or no?
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be saved.
Well, okay. People ask me about it, I said,
Yeah.
told me they didn't know.
Send him a text after, because he's gone, but he'll look at it, I hope.
Yeah, he just did say that in his email, that if you text him or email, he'll get back to us.
Okay.
So if what you could do is, since it's your day in office, you could save it and then send it to him off that computer to his email, and then he could probably post on Facebook at least.
All righty. Discussion of possible action on CPA services.
Oh, no,
Can
no.
you approve
No,
that?
library first. Just kidding. Approved contract for library service for Mitchell County. Is this annual thing or something new?
If it's an annual agreement, basically what gets updated are the dates and then the amount for fiscal year. And for fiscal year 24-25, it's $173,376.
Basically, we're just approving kind of our budget to the libraries, right?
Broke down for each library, I see.
Yep, so each of the libraries have the same.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the contract for the library service for Mitchell County.
I'll make that motion.
The motion is our second. Second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Cindy.
Aye.
Mike.
All right,
Motion passes. Now discussion of possible action on CPA services.
I'll speak briefly. So our 3-year agreement is up with Orange Legal, I don't know how to pronounce it. So we have 2 quotes here. Whatever you guys want to go with, I guess.
Third one never got back to you?
Yes, I contacted the 3rd one and they never got back to me.
Yeah, it's time for a change.
What's that?
I think it's time for a change. They're more expensive, but I just simply think we can do better. Gardner has more counties, they're more full service. Look at the hours that both of them are going to anticipate to provide. Where is it? Gardner, I believe, was at, they figured it was going to be 350 hours to do Mitchell County. Got that in here somewhere in their proposal.
Yeah, versus 290.
Yeah, so that, yeah, they're more expensive, but when they're prepared to devote more time to the project, the hourly rate, yeah, it's still gonna be more, but I just think they're gonna be more detailed.
You have to wait for some extensions on that current company too, do you?
2 years in a row, I believe. And a couple of years ago, I sat in on a meeting with them, I guess the audit basically, and I'm not a CPA, but it seemed like he was just going through a routine from one year to the next. I think I would be in favor of a change. See what's out there. Saying that, I will make a motion to accept Gardner and Company as audit services for the 24-25
The 3-year.
3-year contract.
3-year contract.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yes, so Rachel, this came up because the existing 3-year contract is done?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Cindy.
Aye.
Jim.
Motion passes. Meetings attended.
As part of a water sampling subcommittee meeting, in attendance were Milt Owen, Mike Miner, Mike Webb, Gatlin Heeman, Eric Jellum, Andy Teets, Austin Walk, and myself. What this is about is, and Mike, if you want to add to any of this, by all means. So Milt took notes of the meeting and Milt pretty much presented at the meeting. He's been instrumental in water sampling within Mitchell County. And we contribute $9,000 to that service. He estimates it's roughly $15,000, $16,000 actual cost for it. All in attendance have agreed and recommended continuing the program. I'm just going to read some of this because it's about the easiest way to provide it. Valuable data for future grants and public information. Also agreed to explore possibility of expanding data to include land use at each watershed sample point and include more precipitation data. We talked about where the data is stored. Right now, it's being stored on 2 thumb drives, and we all think that could be done much better. I suggested and this is just data, it's not going to take up very much room at all. I suggested that as a backup, we could use the courthouse server, have a place on that. Conservation also is going to be using a cloud-based system for their facility, so the data can be placed on that also. With conservation, Andy's gonna be responsible for the annual updates on the cloud and getting the updates to the county IT person for the county server. It was also discussed that this information could be made public through the conservation site. Not all details of what's going on, but actual just trend lines as far as what these samples are doing, so the public has an idea what's going on, what we're doing, what we're paying for. Let's see. People that are gonna do the samples are they call him the 780 position. He's got 780 hours a year is what he works for the Soil and Water Conservation District. And that is Mike Webb. So he would be doing the water sampling or coordinated with a watershed coordinator position when they get a new person hired. We're gonna coordinate some of the sampling so that maybe this could get done in one day in regards to 2 days, so they can try to save some money with that. And then, so last paragraph I'm gonna read, since we don't see big changes in median numbers over time, meaning these samples, some of it spikes depending on precipitation, and sometimes it goes down. So you have a graph that's up and down, well, the median is a trend line that's in between. So since we don't see big changes in median numbers over time, Milt will look at historical data to see if sampling can be reduced to 4 times each year. Eric is with the Mitchell County Soil and Water Conservation District. Eric will check with Matt Helmers for any suggestions on sampling frequency. Eric will also check with Matt about models that could be used to predict nutrient loads. Nutrient loads could be used to calculate dollar values to nutrient loss, meaning all that's has to say is that has to do with cover crops and trying to clean our water up. So any additions?
No, like I said, Soil and Water's been doing this for a while now, and you guys are giving them 9,000 a year. This is Soil and Water, not County Conservation. And I just wanted to have a meeting to see what the benefit was of continuing the process. I mean, the big thing on it is how we'll continue moving forward since they, Milt's been kind of heading it. Milt's not a young buck anymore, so what's gonna happen in the next 10 years is he begins to progress out. Also, Water wants to handle that aspect of it. The fact that they had another changeover in their watershed coordinator who does a lot of sampling, what the county conservation can do to help partner and stuff. So we agreed that we could be able to hold the stuff, collect. Once the data is provided to us, we can go ahead and put it on out to the public, get it out there and store it for backup. But they would still be doing the water samples and collecting the data, and what data is truly needed is what was discussed as well. That's where it's summarized.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have.
I just have a question on that. Like at one time, Milt said the water coming into the county was more polluted than the water leaving the county, so the county aquafilter or whatever was actually cleaning it up, or is that still the case?
I don't know, I don't have the data memorized or anything, Mike, I've looked at it, but I don't know. But
I know
yeah, the way he made it sound like is when it comes into the county, we have a higher nitrate count than when it leaves the county.
Yep.
As for what's happening in between there, I don't know what's all set or where those measurements are taken type thing, but I do know he has said that, yeah, what comes into the county has a higher nitrate count and phosphorus count than what leaves the county type thing. So, and those sites, we definitely all agree that have to stay. What's coming in and what's going out, we want to have. It's what's in the middle. How many sites do we need in the middle to kind of get our numbers and stuff is what was discussed.
I had none, but I missed a comment. On here from Cathcart. It says New Haven has an extremely high water table. Most wells are very shallow due to this. And then burying might be difficult. That's a good question. For the cement, to bury the cement stuff might be too difficult due to the wells.
High water table.
Yeah, so I'm sorry I missed that comment. That was typed. That's all.
Okay. Well, I was at the conservation board meeting that he discussed that, and I was at the public health board meeting, and I don't know, Amanda isn't here, but so I'll just touch on some of the stuff she said. She said her expenses are over, but her revenue is good too. There's more going on than what she anticipated. They plugged 6 wells, tested 90. 3 wells have been inspected. Septics, there's 13 applications right now for new septics, and there's currently 12 licensed installers in Mitchell County. And there's been 15 time of transfers inspections. That's kind of a highlight of what she said more, but that's all I have.
I have none, but I will echo on Laura's comment that Iowa Workforce will be at the library this Friday for a job fair if anybody's looking for a job. That's it.
I had none.
All right. Vendor management plan update.
There's actually none.
None. Public comments. Any public comments?
I forgot to add one thing to my report, that we are entertaining the thought of purchasing a ripper for the back of one of our water graders. We bought that dozer attachment for the skid loader, and usually when we do a road regrade, we use the 6-way dozer and the ripper that's attached to it. Well, we're trying to minimize that. We found we've got a lead on a used, cheaper ripper we can mount in the back of our motor grader. So like a $5,000 unit. So when we rent a dozer for a month, it's about $10,000. So we've got the skid loader, 6-way dozer blade now. If we get a ripper, we can kind of combine all that, maybe eliminate that rental cost every year. So just an FYI, if we can find it, and if we can make it work, we might be purchasing a used ripper for the back so we can get those grading projects done a little cheaper.
So you don't want to go ahead. You want to rent a dozer then?
Well, we've got our big dozer we pull behind,
Sheep's foot.
put the sheep's foot behind it. And if we can knock a lot of our dirt down with our motor graders and maybe that skid steer, thing, we might not need to rent a dozer. So we'll just see how that, we're gonna experiment this year to see how it actually works. If we need one, we'll get one, but we're kind of trying to find ways to not have to rent one all the time, so. So we've got the big one to knock down the big piles, and then we can come back with a motor grader or that skid steer attachment. We might be able to move some stuff without having to rent a dozer.
I was just gonna say that we had that one ripper on that cat, and it was pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yep. That was just something I forgot to add.
All right, any other public comments? Nothing? During the meeting at 9:52.